All right, Harry, our topic for today is in Matthew chapter 13. It's the parable of the sower. Maybe we can get your thoughts on it. What do you got?
Yeah, so the parable is told by Jesus in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and we're using Matthew for our reference. Each time Jesus tells the parable and explains it at a later time, like much of Jesus' teaching, the focus of the story is to tell us that his people need to produce something. For this video, we want to go over the story and the explanation at the same time. So, Justin, who is the sower?
The sower at this case would be Jesus, right? He's the word, but then it leads even to a deeper aspect, his disciples or the apostles who walked with him. And then even all the way to the extent of us today, we're planting seeds. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, everybody, housewives, carpenters, and all. Everybody's in that category if they are following Jesus' teaching. So, what is the seed?
The seed is the word, it says. And so I would believe the seed is even Jesus, is a fair way to put it.
Yeah, and the message and how to become family now and forever and get Satan out of our life. So, the story background 2,000 years ago, a farmer in Israel would prepare a field by plowing it and tilling it multiple times in the late summer to get rid of the weeds and make a good seed bed. Then in September, he would sow the seed by hand, evenly distributing it across the field, then tilling it lightly one more time to cover the seed. And as he, so now is, and then we start with the story. As he sows his field by hand, some lands on the pathway. Does that grow?
No, we know that because it's just going to be trampled on all throughout with a walking path, right?
Yeah. So who's represented here?
It's actually Satan. So anybody who hears the word from this aspect, just like let's say the best way of putting it is a street preacher, right? He's just preaching about Jesus, and the people are just walking by. It's just a bunch of seed being scattered.
Yeah, and of course that has potential, but for all the ones that say God's not real and talk to me later, they're the ones that
Heard the
is
word and just
yeah,
didn't
that's
do
it.
anything.
Yeah. So the seed that falls on the rocky part of the field is the shallow soil. Holds Doesn't hold enough moisture because it's too shallow, and the plants die out over time. Verse 21, 20 and 21. Could you read that, please?
Yeah, for sure. It says the one on whom seed was sown on the rocky places. This is the man who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no firm root in himself, but is only temporary. And when affliction or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he falls away.
Yeah, so today many people love what the gospel offers, but lose interest when they get pushback. Then they look for some other good idea for a while. They accepted Jesus, they loved him, and left him.
Mm.
Verse 22.
Yeah, and the one on whom seed was sown among the thorns, this is the man who hears the word, and the worries of the world and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful.
Yeah, so when you plant a garden and you get busy and forget to weed it and come back in a month, what do you got?
Oh, you got a garden full of weeds at that point now.
Yeah, and the weeds have taken over. They won that. The thorny part of the field is like thistles there, thistles, and we have them today too. And they're perennials and they're very competitive. Where the thistles are, the wheat grows, but it just kind of competes, as you might say, but never produces anything. These are the people that come to Jesus, continue all their life, but the worries of life and there are many other things that come with prosperity and family compete with their God life. They do church, but have no fruit for Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And verse 23.
Yeah, it says, and the one on whom seed was sown on the good soil, this is the man who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bears fruit and brings forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. And I'm assuming most of us want to get to this stage who are
That's
listening
right.
in, right? So how do we get there, Harry?
Yeah, where the conditions are right, the plants grow unhindered and produce a full crop. Likewise, people who truly walk with God. He gives the increase where godly people have a rich and productive life now and enjoy eternity with him.
All right, yeah. So what do you think the recipe is to be able to be somebody who walks with the Lord there?
Yeah, it's surrender, but also to love the Lord. If we truly, but if it's more, if Jesus is more important to us than all the other stuff, we can still have a family, a job, and a home life, and all those things. But if our focus is the Lord, and that gets to be our center part, the center part of our time for reading and praying, and also visiting with a friend. What do we talk about? We can talk about cats and dogs, or we can talk about Jesus. We have those choices, and if the Lord's important to us, that's where our conversation goes. Jesus says, of the fullness of the heart is what the mouth speaks of. So whatever, if we're full of him, we will demonstrate that to those around us. And if
And then
that's
that
our,
right there is going to
yeah,
produce a crop, right? Of some 100,
yeah,
some 60, and some 30, just by speaking like that, just being in love with God.
yeah, yeah, just gently sharing, and over time you get better at it and get better at it, and you keep a little mini Bible in your back pocket, and you meet somebody new or whatever, say, hey, try this, and give them a little hint at what they might find, and move them on, and do that on a regular basis, and before long you put one in each pocket, and so it's these are the things that make a difference, a huge difference over time. And yeah, it's by little, but it has to be our center point. But if life is busy and we got all kinds of other stuff going on, and we have good intentions, but intentions don't produce fruit. We have to do something.
Amen. Thanks a lot for this, Harry.
Thank you.